You know, in the world of microservices, your API gateway is pretty much the front door. But what happens when a request actually knocks? Does it just get waved right through? Or does it get the full VIP treatment? That right there is the heart of the proxy versus non-proxy debate. And trust me, it's a decision that's going to define your entire architecture. So let's dive in. So what does this actually look like? Well, think of your API gateway as the central traffic cop for your whole system. It's the one and only entry point for every single request. Doesn't matter if it's coming from a web app, a phone, or another service. Its main job is to smartly route all that traffic to the right microservice, which keeps your whole setup clean and, well, keeps your users happy. And this is where we get to the real meat of it. You've got two main paths to connect your gateway to your backend: proxy or non-proxy. And listen, this isn't just some minor technical detail. It is a fundamental choice that's going to affect your security, how your team develops code, and how well your system can scale down the road.
Okay, let's start with our first option. I like to call this one the transparent pipe. This is the proxy integration pattern.
Think of this one as a really simple messenger. The gateway literally just takes the entire raw HTTP request, we're talking headers, body, query parameters, the whole shebang, and just passes it right along to your backend code like a Lambda function. The gateway doesn't even try to understand or change what's inside, it just delivers the package as is.
So why would you do this? Well, the main appeal is speed. It is incredibly fast to set up because you don't have to waste time configuring any data mapping in the gateway. But that speed comes at a price. Now all the responsibility, and I mean all of it, is on your backend code. You're the one who has to handle the full HTTP response, which means manually crafting every single little detail.
And this is what that responsibility really looks like. When you're in proxy mode, your code has to build the entire HTTP response from scratch. So you're not just returning your data, you are also setting the status codes and, this is the big one, all the necessary headers, like the ones for cores. That's cross-origin resource sharing, a browser security thing that you absolutely have to get right or things just break.
And if you think I'm exaggerating, I'm not. This quote from a developer on Stack Overflow. Man, so many of us have been there. Because the backend is on the hook for these critical headers, it is so common to spend hours, maybe even days, chasing down these mysterious CORS errors, all because one tiny line was missing in your Lambda's response. It's a real pain.
So if that's the transparent pipe with all its potential headaches, what's the alternative? Let's take a look at our second path, the non-proxy integration. I call this one the smart translator.
In this model, the API gateway gets a serious promotion. It stops being a simple messenger and becomes this intelligent translator. It actually intercepts the incoming request and uses these powerful mapping templates to reshape it, clean it up, and pull out only the data your backend actually cares about before it passes it along.
The number one benefit here is something called decoupling. Your backend service is basically shielded from all that messy HTTP junk. It gets to focus purely on business logic. And the gateway? It gets some incredible new powers. Using a tool called Velocity Templating Language, or VTL, you can transform data on the fly. You can rename fields, change structures, or you can even skip having a Lambda function at all and write directly to a database. Pretty cool, right? I mean, just look at the difference here. With a non-proxy setup, the gateway uses a simple little mapping template to pluck out just the data you need from the request. And what does that mean? It means your backend code is beautiful. It's simple. It doesn't have to deal with any of that HTTP noise. It just gets a clean, ready-to-use business object. Your developers can actually focus on what matters, not on writing boilerplate code.
Okay, we've explored both paths. Now let's put them side by side. Time for a little head-to-head showdown.
This scorecard really just makes the trade-offs crystal clear, doesn't it? With proxy, pretty much everything, your logic, your input types, your CORS headers, your validation, it all lives in your backend code. But with non-proxy, you shift all of that responsibility over to the API gateway's configuration. Your backend just gets to sit back and receive clean, simple, pre-validated data.
So, the crucial point is this. Proxy integration is like a delivery driver. You do all the hard work of packaging the meal perfectly, and the driver just drops it off at the door. Non-proxy, on the other hand, is like a fine dining waiter. You, the chef, you just focus on cooking the food, your business logic, and the waiter takes care of all the presentation, the plating, and dealing with the customer.
But this isn't just about coding preference, and this is really important. This choice fundamentally shapes your system's security, its governance, and its ability to adapt to whatever's coming next. It's your architecture's DNA. When it comes to security, the non-proxy model is a total game changer. By validating request schemas right at the gateway, you're basically putting a powerful security guard at the front door. It can filter out malicious or just badly formed traffic before it can ever even touch your backend services. This lines up perfectly with a zero-trust security posture, the idea that you should never trust any request by default.
This also opens the door to true API governance. Look, as organizations get bigger, you need consistency. With the gateway's transformation powers, you can enforce standard error formats, consistent field names, and proper versioning across hundreds of microservices. You could, for example, make sure all error messages have the exact same structure, which makes life so much easier for everyone consuming your API.
And this is why this matters so much for the future. We are moving, and fast, into a machine-first world where AI agents are going to be a primary consumer of your APIs. And these agents, they thrive on clean, predictable, well-structured data. A smart translator gateway is perfectly built to handle that need, making sure your services are ready for this next wave.
So I'll just leave you with this question to chew on. As AI, security, and governance demands get more and more complex, is the non-proxy smart translator pattern really just an option anymore? Or has it become the essential, future-proof foundation for the next generation of APIs? It's a critical question to think about because the choice you make is going to have a lasting impact.